You probably know me, or used to know me. The body positivity girl, the one who kept it real. People liked how thin I was, and praised me for listening to my body, while they were still struggling to accept theirs. Then they say I'm a fraud. They say my message is twisted, that I hide cruelty behind pastel filters and cheerful affirmations. But I've always been honest. Only eat when you're truly hungry. That was my mantra, my truth. It kept me disciplined, controlled, pure. But something has changed. One morning, I woke up to a mess in the kitchen. The fridge door was wide open, milk dripping down the shelves, half-eaten apples, protein bars torn from their wrappers and crumbled on the floor. My jaw tightened. I lived alone, and I hadn't touched any of that. Was someone in my apartment? The idea of an intruder terrified me. Someone watching me, entering while I slept. I couldn't sleep the next night, so I ordered a home security camera and set it up in the kitchen. The next morning, my stomach turned before I even looked at the footage. More crumbs. A banana peel in the sink. The smell of peanut butter lingering in the air. I opened the app and pressed play. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was me, stumbling into the kitchen at 3:12 a.m., barefoot, eyes open but empty. I looked, possessed. I grabbed whatever I could, cold chicken, spoonfuls of almond butter, even raw oats straight from the container. My mouth moved too fast, too wide. I chewed like I'd been starving for days. I didn't remember any of it. The next day, I threw away everything. Every snack, every spice, every emergency granola bar. I left only a single container with a carefully measured 300-calorie meal. That was enough. That was all I needed. I would not let my body betray me again. But it did. The next morning, I woke up with threads on my tongue. At first, I thought it was a bad dream. But my pillows were torn, foam and feathers scattered across the room. The edge of the sofa had bite marks. Actual bite marks. My teeth ached. My gums were bleeding. I watched the footage with shaking hands. There I was again, wandering the apartment. But this time, I didn't go to the kitchen. I tore through my closet, biting fabric, chewing on tank tops and socks. Then I turned to the couch, ripping at the seams, shoving stuffing into my mouth with terrifying hunger. I fell to the ground and dry heaved, but I couldn't stop watching. I called Jay, my boyfriend. I hadn't planned to tell him, but I was scared. I think I'm sleep-eating. He came over that night, holding my trembling hands, promising,
"I'll stay with you. We'll get through this."
I slept beside him that night. For the first time in days, I felt safe. Until I woke up in a hospital bed. White lights, white sheets, white walls. Then the door opened. Jay wasn't there. One officer stepped inside. Behind him, a doctor with a clipboard and tired eyes.
"You're awake."
The officer said, "Where is he? Where's Jay?" They exchanged glances.
"We need to show you something."
It was night vision footage from Jay's phone. He must have been filming me to help figure out what was happening. The angle was shaky, but clear enough. I watched as I sat up in bed. Jay stirred, whispered something. I turned to him, then lunged. My limbs flailed, sharp and unnatural. My mouth latched onto his arm, tearing into flesh. He screamed, kicked, tried to run. I dragged him down. Blood. So much blood. He broke free and locked himself in the bathroom, phone still recording. He was crying, begging someone to come.
"Please! She's not herself!"
I stopped watching. I couldn't breathe. No! That's not me! That's not me! But it was. They found him. Alive. Barely. He called the police. Said I tried to eat him. Eat him. They placed me under psychiatric observation. Apparently, it's called nocturnal sleep-related eating disorder, but no one had ever seen a case like this. The doctor said the level of psychological suppression I'd maintained, denial of hunger, hatred of weakness, could have mutated my subconscious into something monstrous. That's why they keep me here now, strapped to a bed. No mirrors, no utensils. My meals are liquid, monitored, rationed. They don't want me to chew, but I still feel it. The need, the craving, not for food. I've tried screaming, reasoning. I tell them I'm better, that I've learned, that I'll eat real food now. I'll eat cake, I'll eat bread, I'll eat anything, please, just... But when the lights go off, it happens again. At night, the hunger takes over. The straps strain against my skin. My jaw clenches. My mouth waters. The nurses say I growl in my sleep. One of them swore they saw me smile while dreaming. I used to say, only eat when you're truly hungry. Now, I'm starving.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Tung 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 sahur. Tralalero tralala.
Ballerina cappuccina.
It was one of those days where the air itself felt heavy. Deadlines, coffee jitters, and that migraine that never really goes away. I was exhausted, mentally fried, when I looked up from my screen and nearly screamed. Sam, my co-worker, was standing there smiling. Or something that used to be Sam. Usually pristine and polished. Today she looked like a puppet half alive. Her face was pale and waxy. Her eyes were swallowed in deep, dark rings, and her forehead swollen, as if something inside was pressing outward.
Hello, tralalero, tralala.
She chirped in a sing-song voice that didn't belong to her. I blinked, startled. What? She giggled, her expression twitching between joy and emptiness.
Oh, you're such a fossil. Haven't you seen the Brain Rot universe? It's trending on TikTok.
What's it about? I asked. She tilted his head.
It's just brain rot. It doesn't mean anything. That's why it's perfect.
And then she laughed, loud and broken, before walking away. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But it was only the beginning. The next day, more co-workers had the look. Sunken eyes, pale skin, puffy heads like overripe fruit. They wandered the office, muttering absurd phrases.
It's tung 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 sahur time.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccina?
And every time they laughed together. Giggles like wind chimes in a hurricane. I didn't understand what was happening. I stopped getting Slack messages, emails, eye contact. No one spoke to me unless I repeated their nonsense. It was like they spoke a new language, and I was suddenly illiterate. Outside the office, it was worse. Random people on the street babbled the same phrases. Whole cafes filled with chuckling strangers, nodding at videos in silence. I felt like a relic, forgotten by time. And still, no one could tell me what brain rot actually was. I found out the hard way. On my way home from the supermarket, I saw a man standing under a flickering street lamp. He was laughing hysterically, phone in hand, eyes bloodshot. The air around him felt wrong. Then the screen of his phone glitched, and something crawled out. A creature, half smoke, half flesh, launched at his face. He screamed, tried to pull it off, but it clung like a parasite. I ran to help, but the thing was already latched onto his skull. He twisted, convulsed. The creature breathed, pulsing like it was drinking him, siphoning blood, thoughts, sanity. When it was done, he collapsed. And then he rose, grinning.
Liri lilarila, cappuccino assassino.
He said softly. I stumbled back, shaking. That was the moment I realized brain rot was real, not just a trend, a parasite spreading like a virus, using content as its doorway. After that night, I saw it everywhere. People collapsed at work. Some clawed at their heads, trying to peel the creature off as it wriggled under their scalp. I tried CPR on one guy, but the monster had already sucked out whatever made him human. It slipped out of him with a wet hiss and vanished, like smoke dissolving in sunlight. The doctor later said he'd suffered a stroke, that his brain had deteriorated from overuse, lack of sleep, screen exposure. His brain had literally rotted. Brain rot. I tried to defend myself. I deleted all my apps, locked my phone away, covered my windows, but it didn't matter. The brain rot videos no longer needed your permission. They played in waiting rooms, office lobbies, subway ads. Sometimes I could hear the audio before I even saw a screen echoing in the back of my skull. Even without looking, I could feel the presence. I fought them off for days. I saw the creatures, swatted them away when they tried to leap at me. But no matter how many I escaped, they just kept multiplying. They were evolving, feeding, and growing bigger. One day, I was surrounded, cornered in an alleyway behind the office, flanked by people I once knew, now brainwashed shells of themselves. Their eyes bulged, their skin sagged like wet cloth, but their mouths, smiling, endlessly smiling. They spoke in unison.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccino? Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, Saha time.
I covered my ears, shut my eyes. Didn't work. They grabbed me, held me down. I felt fingers pry my eyelids open. Someone shoved a phone inches from my face. The screen flickered. I screamed. Too late. It came. The creature tore through the screen like a riptide and latched onto my face. It was sticky and hot, like liquid panic, forcing itself through my skin, drilling into my skull. I writhed. They held me tighter. The audio looped. The images flashed. Bright, dumb colors and deformed faces dancing over meaningless music. It was torture. It was hollow. And then, something shifted. I stopped fighting. Suddenly it felt nice, light, funny. The sounds weren't meaningless anymore. They were funny. I smiled, I giggled. Do din 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 do. I felt the rocks settle into my brain like a warm bath. The pain vanished. Everything made sense now. Ballerina cappuccina. Tralalero tralala. I looked up at the others, my new family, and we laughed together. And now I see you. You're still watching, aren't you? Go ahead. Scroll down. Just once more. Let brain rot in.
What about this one? Have you ever cheated on your partner?
Too tame.
How about, have you ever loved your best friend's lover?
Have you ever had a secret affair with a married person? Have you ever been paid for
I didn't think it was a bad idea at first. The producer approached me at the cafe where I worked part-time, offering me a chance to win up to $500,000 on the game show, The Moment of Truth. The rules were simple. Answer every question truthfully while hooked up to a polygraph. Truth equals money. I needed that money. It was my only chance to escape the suffocating weight of debt, to finally open the salon I'd dreamed of, and leave behind the dark corners of my life. So I said yes. The casting was straightforward, or so it seemed. I sat in a sterile room, wires strapped to my arms, the cold polygraph machine humming softly beside me. The questions ranged from mundane to slightly invasive.
Do you like your appearance? Have you ever lied to get out of trouble? Would you take $250 from a stranger if they dropped it?
I told the truth, and the machine validated me. The producer nodded approvingly after each response.
You're a natural.
He said, flashing a toothy smile that didn't reach his eyes. I should have noticed the smirk behind the camera lens when they told me I was selected. The condition: my boyfriend Brian had to come on the show as a guest. The day of the taping, Brian and I arrived at the brightly lit studio. The set was extravagant, pulsating spotlights, a live audience, and at the center, a sleek stage with 2 chairs under a spotlight. The host, Beto, radiated charisma. His smile was sharp, his voice hypnotic.
Welcome, Ruth.
Beto greeted me as I sat down. His tone dripped with mock kindness, but I was too focused on the prize to care. The first few questions were a breeze.
Have you ever had a nose job?
Yes.
Do you think being pretty is more important than being kind?
Yes. The crowd chuckled as I answered truthfully, and the money started piling up. $10,000, $25,000, $100,000. But then the questions turned personal.
Would you forgive Brian if he cheated on you?
I hesitated for a moment, looked at Brian. Honestly, Brian was just a motorcycle driver. If he had a more stable job, I think our relationship would be different. Even though I felt guilty toward Brian, I needed more. No. Brian's face fell. I tried to stammer an explanation, but Beto pressed on, his smile widening.
Would you leave Brian if someone better came along?
The studio went silent. My heart pounded. I hesitated, then whispered, yes. Brian's knuckles whitened as he gripped the armrest. The audience gasped and I felt the room closing in. I hope Brian will understand this situation. The questions kept coming, slicing deeper.
Do you really work at a call center?
No.
That's the truth. Do you work at a nightclub?
Yes.
That's the truth.
Brian's expression darkened with each revelation, but I kept going. I needed the money, but these questions made me uneasy. Surely they wouldn't ask about my real job, would they?
Have you ever accepted money for
The world seemed to tilt. My chest tightened and my thoughts spiraled in chaos. Should I tell the truth? Could I? I knew what this answer would mean, how it would follow me, how Peru, with its unforgiving gaze, would never see this with an open mind. The words clawed at my throat, desperate to escape, but fear anchored me in silence. Yes, I whispered. Just twice. We were desperate. The room fell deathly quiet. Brian looked like he'd been punched in the gut. The audience's shock was palpable. I reached $250,000, enough to change my life. But Beto leaned forward, his eyes glinting with malice.
Do you want to continue, Ruth? One more round and you could triple your winnings.
The audience roared for me to stop.
It's not worth it.
Someone shouted. My gaze darted to Brian, whose face was a mask of anger and betrayal. I could feel the weight of the crowd's judgment pressing down on me. Tears streamed down my face as I sank to my knees in front of Brian. I'm sorry. I just wanted a better life for us. Brian said nothing, his eyes cold. Beto's voice cut through the tension like a blade.
The truth is always illuminating. It will not do harm, even though it hurts.
A month later, the episode aired. It broke viewership records, but my life crumbled. Headlines branded me as Peru's worker. Strangers on the street sneered at me, and Brian left, calling me a disgrace. The prize money? It hadn't arrived. The producers claimed processing delays. Then, one evening, Brian called. His voice was icy.
We need to talk, now.
I met him in our dimly lit apartment. His anger simmered just beneath the surface.
You made me a joke. The whole world knows me as the guy who wasn't good enough for his girlfriend. They're calling me a green hat slave.
I didn't mean for this to happen. I just wanted to win.
Win?
He laughed bitterly.
You've ruined both of us.
He demanded a share of the prize money. When I told him it hadn't come, he exploded, grabbing me by the neck. The room flickered, the lights stuttering. His grip tightened, and I felt the air leave my lungs. Then, in the darkness, I heard it. A chilling laugh. Beto's laugh.
Thank you for playing, Ruth. Your truth was worth telling.
Where's the truth, Mr. Beto?
Produce more news and articles about the sex workers missing, and don't forget to mention the moment of truth.
I arrived in Los Angeles when I was 22, dragging a scuffed suitcase and a head full of fragile dreams. I wanted to act, not just be famous, not just be seen, but to perform something that mattered. I wanted to be somebody. Everyone said I had the look. Tan skin, wide eyes, and the kind of youthful fragility that casting directors seem to eat alive. At first, I thought that was a compliment. Now I know better. The first time I met him, Piddy was in the gold-tinted corridors of Empire House Studios. The walls were lined with platinum records and golden trophies. Piddy didn't audition me. He just invited me for a chat in his office. He wore sunglasses indoors, the kind of man who never broke eye contact, even through 2 inches of designer lenses. He didn't ask what roles I wanted or what my dreams were. He asked how far I was willing to go. Then he stood up, walked over, and without warning, laid a hand on my shoulder. It slid down my back like grease.
Fame leaves a mark, baby,
he whispered. I froze. Back at my apartment, I stripped down and stared at myself in the bathroom mirror. My skin still tingled where he touched me, and that's when I saw it. A red handprint, bright, raw, and burning across the middle of my back. It wasn't paint. It wasn't a bruise. It didn't hurt, didn't fade, didn't wipe away. I scrubbed myself until my skin peeled, but the mark stayed. I stopped sleeping, stopped auditioning. My inbox was full, but my soul felt hollow. Weeks passed. Then came the white party. I wasn't invited as a guest. I was just a server. He threatened me, said if I didn't comply, he'd release the casting video from that day online. Everyone was dressed in white. Stark, ceremonial white. The kind of white that hides blood, but never sin. Celebrities mingled with producers. Influencers posed beside men who ran studios like kingdoms. That's when I started seeing them. Red handprints. On the backs of dancers. On the thighs of stylists. Around the necks of young interns. All glowing red under the same kind of white light that revealed mine. A woman leaned over the champagne table, and 5 deep red fingers wrapped around her bicep. It was Piddy's wife. And that's when I understood. Only the marked can see the marks. I was not alone. I joined a quiet group online, a closed circle of those who had seen the red handprints, survivors, not just women, men too, a cameraman, a backup vocalist, a personal trainer. All carried marks from the same parties, same rooms, same man. We shared stories, shared proof. We compiled our evidence, glitches in footage, unedited photos, glimpses of handprints in the cold fluorescence of dressing rooms, green rooms, hotel lobbies. We built a case. I told the others, we can do this. We can fight. But then I got the message. A voice memo. From a number I didn't recognize, but the voice was unmistakable. Pity.
You open your mouth, Hannah,
He said, calm as a scalpel.
and I'll open the vault. You know the one. Room 7, white party, champagne room. There's footage. You were drugged, but baby, the camera doesn't care. The internet won't either.
3 days later, the video dropped. Low res, grainy, dim lighting. But my face was unmistakable. I was dazed, barely able to stand. He was behind me, his hand pressed to my skin. It went viral before I could even scream. The headlines didn't say survivor. They said, actress caught in scandal with hip-hop mogul. Nobody forced her. Another clout chaser? Agents dropped me. My email filled with threats and offers, none of them professional. Studios blacklisted me. People whispered. Some looked at me with pity. Most didn't look at all. My career was over. No one wanted to hire the girl from the clip. No one cared how it got made. No one wanted the truth. I received a warning message.
There are still plenty of other casting videos. Be a good girl and do as you're told.
After that, the stories dried up. Some members of our circle vanished. One girl, the bravest among us, was found in a river. No one asked questions. I went back to being invisible. Months later, I saw a young actress stumble out of a club, the same dazed look I'd once worn. She had a fresh red mark just below her collarbone. I turned away. Back home, I stripped in front of the mirror, and I saw. Under the harsh white light, they emerged. Not one, not 5, but dozens of red handprints, crawling across my skin like a living plague. My shoulders, my thighs, my neck, my ribs. They weren't bruises. They weren't burns. They were brands, punishments, proof. Proof of every time I turned away. Every time I stayed quiet. Every time I let it happen. I dropped to the floor, shaking. I had wanted to be seen. Now I couldn't look at myself. The marks were everywhere. Some new, still glowing. Others old, deep like wine stains, faded but never gone. Some fingers dug into my flesh like they were trying to pull me underground. I could barely breathe. Then, a new one appeared right before my eyes. It bled into existence, blooming around my throat like a hand trying to strangle me from the inside out. Just the red. Always the red. I clawed at my neck, as if I could rip it off, erase it, scrub myself clean of every secret I'd buried under silence. But the handprints didn't just stain my skin. They owned me. They were justice for the voices I didn't protect. They were the rage of every soul I abandoned to save myself. I curled into a ball on the cold bathroom tile, sobbing soundlessly, because the red fingers around my throat were no longer symbolic. They were real, and they were winning. But I still had hands, still had breath, so I wrote. I bled it into pages. I titled it, The Red Handprints. It's not a cry for help. It's a record of rot, a monument to the cowardice that lives behind fame and filters. Maybe someone will read it. Maybe not. Maybe they'll see the marks too. Maybe they'll finally scream before it's too late.
They say positivity can be contagious. But I used to wonder if that was really true. Or just something people said to make the darkness more bearable. Every morning, I'd wake up feeling like my body was falling apart. Yet somehow, I would still set up the ring light, adjust the frame, smile through the nausea, and press record. Even though I was fighting a serious illness, I always tried to tell my followers something soft, something hopeful like, let's make today a little lighter, even if it's just for a minute. Thousands of comments would flood in, pouring love over me like warm sunlight. You're a warrior. You made my day better. But not all of them. It was always the same one. The same blank account. No name, no face, no followers. Just a steady, unrelenting drip of cruelty. At first, I told myself to ignore it, but it clung to me like a shadow. What scared me most was how much this stranger knew. The kind of things I never posted. The chipped ceramic mug I used when my stomach turned. The medication I avoided even when I was desperate. I felt watched, like someone was peeling me open. I confided in Ed. He's been my best friend for years. The one who always picked up the phone at 3 a.m, who carried me when I couldn't walk. I told him everything. He didn't dismiss it. He just held me close and whispered,
I've been there. I know what it does to your head. I know what it makes you feel, like you're never safe.
His voice trembled, and for a moment, I saw something crack behind his eyes, something bare, something sharp.
I didn't know when the thorns first broke the surface. Maybe it was the night she hit 1 million followers. Or maybe it started the day I realized people loved her for her pain, while I was just invisible in mine. I never meant to become that person. The comments were just a way to breathe, a small outlet. But each time I pressed send, something inside me twisted. It started with an itch, then a sting. It began with a single thorn pressing beneath the skin of my wrist, then another creeping upward, each one blooming out of rage. It wasn't jealousy, not at first. It was fury. When I was in school, I was severely cyberbullied, but no one ever noticed my cries for help. Why did she get love for breaking while I broke in silence? I convinced myself it was balance, that real friends should share everything, even the weight of pain no one else could see. If I had to carry it alone, then maybe she should feel a sliver of it too. But the thorns didn't stop. They crept farther each day, spreading across my shoulders, winding down my back like roots seeking a way out. Then it was my face. Not all at once, just small changes at first. Subtle grooves at the edges of my cheekbones. Fine lines slicing across my reflection like someone had etched fractures into porcelain. But I noticed. I felt every split as if my skin were being carved from the inside. And still, I kept going. Kept typing, kept tearing into anyone who dared to be happy, to be seen, to be loved, especially Rose. Then one day she came over. She hugged me and sobbed, trembling in my arms. But then she flinched, jerked back with a gasp. She said I hurt her, that my skin felt like needles. Did Rose sense that something was off about me? Overwhelmed and unsure of what to say, I came up with an excuse to quickly step outside, just to avoid facing her.
As Ed hurried out the door, he left his phone behind. It buzzed on the table next to me, a new notification lighting up the screen. It was that account, the same anonymous profile that had been tearing me apart with cruel, relentless comments. Maybe this was the answer I'd been afraid to face. Maybe I finally knew who had been hurting me all this time. Why would he do this? He told me he had been a victim too. He knew what that pain felt like. So why would someone who once bled turn around and make someone else bleed? I stood up and quietly left the room, my heart heavy with a storm of disbelief, betrayal and bitterness. That night, I recorded one final video. I looked straight into the camera and said, "Words, once spoken, can cut deeper than any blade. But I know who you are, and I won't let you keep hiding behind a screen anymore."
When I got home, Rose was gone. That night, I lost control. I typed until my fingers bled. Dozens of comments, rabid and cruel. Not just at Rose, but at anyone. Anyone with light in their voice. The thorns tore through my skin, no longer content to stay beneath. They bloomed outward, ripping through my back, my arms, my chest like twisted roots bursting from concrete. I screamed, I split. I could feel something monstrous rising inside me. Then her final video appeared. She looked right into the lens.
I know who you are. Don't hide behind your screen anymore.
My hands trembled. My throat tightened. What had Rose seen on my phone? Did she know I was the anonymous account? Was this her way of fighting back? Then the comments came. Hundreds. Thousands. You're sick. You're the monster. You destroyed her. I tried to fight back, but every word I typed summoned more thorns. They erupted across my arms, my throat, my legs. My skin peeled apart. And then, the mouths came. Grotesque little mouths, blooming from the base of each thorn, sprouting across my chest, my shoulders, my hands. And they began to whisper, repeating every cruel word I had ever written. They whispered the same words I'd once spat at others. The room echoed with them. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't, because now I understood. The hatred I'd hurled at others was the very thing that was tearing me apart.
I'm Katie, or at least that's the name I've adopted for the internet. You probably know me, or knew me, as the blindfolded mukbang YouTuber who captivated millions with my silent, bizarre eating broadcasts. My channel skyrocketed because of the mystery I cultivated. A simple gimmick: never show my face, never speak, and always eat ravenously, like I hadn't touched food in days. It worked. Bruises on my wrist, Morse code taps on my plates, cryptic captions with capitalized SOS letters, every little detail carefully planned to keep viewers hooked. They speculated endlessly. Is she kidnapped? Is she being held against her will? Who's behind the camera? The truth? No one was behind the camera but me. I wasn't a victim. I was the mastermind, and I made a killing off it, literally and figuratively. At first, my fabricated cries for help were enough to pull in views. Every video made me richer. I never imagined making money could be this easy. It felt like I'd found my talent. I planned a new angle, something to keep the audience guessing. So I came up with the idea for private live streams, pay-to-watch exclusives. My fans ate it up, both figuratively and literally. During the first live stream, I repeatedly pressed my head into a large bowl of sauce, as if someone were forcefully pushing me down. The chat exploded. Who's hurting you? Why isn't she fighting back? Is she okay? Kate, we're here for you. Just give us a sign. The tips poured in. The live stream was a massive success, but it came with a problem. Comments shifted from concern to skepticism. She's faking it, they'd say. This is all for attention. Some even presented compelling evidence to prove their point. They weren't wrong. I needed a new plan. That's when I brought Joel into the picture. Joel was a struggling actor I found through an extras group. I pitched him the idea. He'd play my captor, forcing me to eat during live streams while I pretended to beg for mercy. Joel was hesitant at first, but the promise of money changed his mind. Our first joint live stream was electric. Joel loomed behind me, occasionally barking orders as I stuffed food into my mouth. The chat went wild. This is insane. Someone call the police. Katie, are you okay? The more desperate I acted, the more money came in. For weeks, the plan worked perfectly. Joel and I split the profit, and my channel reached heights I'd only dreamed of. But then, Joel started getting too into his role. It was during our third live stream together. Something felt off the moment we started. Joel's demeanor had changed. He wasn't just playing the part, he was embodying it.
Eat!
He growled, shoving a massive crab leg in front of me. I played along, taking exaggerated bites, but Joel wasn't satisfied. He grabbed a handful of shrimp and pushed it toward my face.
More,
he demanded. The chat exploded. Oh my God, this is too real. Why everyone keeps saying she's acting? She's a good actress? Someone needs to stop this. Huh. At first, I thought Joel was improvising for dramatic effect. But when I tried to signal for him to ease up, a subtle tap on the table we'd agreed upon, he ignored me. Joel, that's enough, I whispered, my voice barely audible under the sounds of chewing. He leaned in close, his breath hot against my ear.
This isn't what you wanted, Katie.
My stomach dropped. Joel grabbed a handful of food and stuffed it into my mouth harder this time. I gagged, my blindfold slipping as I tried to push him away. I tried to spit out the food and scream, but Joel's hand clamped over my mouth.
Keep eating. The show must go on.
Desperation kicked in. I reached for the only weapon I had, the food itself. Grabbing the greasy seafood plate, I hurled it at Joel's face. He recoiled, momentarily stunned. I seized the chance to run, tearing off the blindfold and sprinting out of the room. I didn't stop running until I reached the police station. My story spilled out between gasps for air, but the officers didn't seem convinced. When I showed them the text between Joel and me, they raised their eyebrows.
These messages make it clear this was all planned.
It wasn't supposed to be real, I shouted, but they didn't care. To them, I was just a desperate YouTuber trying to go viral. Now, I'm back home. every door locked, every window bolted shut. My YouTube channel is gone, my social media accounts deleted. But the fear remains. Yesterday, I received an email from an unknown sender. Isn't this what you wanted, Katie? No attachments, no context, just that one sentence. I don't know where Joel is now, but I can't shake the feeling that he's watching me. Somewhere, out there, he's waiting for me to let my guard down. I never believed in lasting love. At least, not for me. I believed in momentum, in sparks that ignited fast and burned out just as quickly. Apps like Tinder, they weren't for finding a soulmate. They were playgrounds for pleasure, fleeting and fun. A swipe here, a drink there, a night of passion. No promises, no disappointments. That night I wasn't even looking. I was bored, curious, restless. Then came Mark. He wasn't just attractive, he was curated. Tousled hair, well-cut jawline, eyes that looked like they saw through filters. His bio was maddeningly simple. I cook well. I never rush a meal. And yet it hit something. It felt mature, confident, real. We matched instantly. His first message.
Dinner tonight?
I replied, where and when? By 9:43 p.m. I was on my way to his house outside the city. Mark's place was more than a house. It was a villa, hidden behind high hedges, sleek, modern, and warm with soft lighting. When I stepped inside, the smell of rosemary and smoked meat embraced me. He greeted me in a crisp shirt, sleeves rolled.
Welcome. I hope you're hungry.
A long table waited, adorned with wine, candles, and a small tray of homemade pâté. You made this? I thought he was being dramatic, artsy, maybe a little eccentric. He explained how the pâté was made, from how the liver must be handled to the chilling process. I laughed. He was intense, passionate, but charming. We drank red wine, talked, flirted. After the dinner, Mark showed me his kitchen, meticulously arranged, all top-tier chef equipment, each blade gleaming. Mark was obsessed with knives, artisan blades, carbon steel, perfectly honed. He showed me a custom paring knife from Japan, then whispered like a secret. He said, half joking, "You sound like Gordon Ramsay on a date."
More like Hannibal with manners.
I didn't catch the red flag. I was too busy drinking melting under his gaze. The heat between us grew. Touches lingered. His hands slid along my waist, then lips met lips, and we lost ourselves in the moment. As he trailed kisses along my neck, he whispered, almost breathless,
I'm still hungry, and you look delicious. Do you want to be my dinner tonight?
I giggled, aroused. Of course. I thought it was a kink, a game. Maybe he wanted to carry me to the kitchen table. Maybe he had whipped cream hidden somewhere. His lips pressed more firmly, but something shifted. His grip tightened, not seductive, but possessive. His breath grew shallow. Then I felt it, the unmistakable chill of cold metal, a sharp prick at the base of my skull. I tensed. Not playful, not sexy. He said flatly,
I mean it.
It took me a second to process, then two. His eyes were no longer warm. They were vacant, detached. Mark, what are you doing? His smile remained, but it no longer belonged to a man flirting. Before I could scream, he moved, swift, precise. Something jabbed of my neck, a sudden jolt like a taser. The pain wasn't deep, but it sent a paralyzing shockwave through my spine. My muscles seized, my vision blurred. I collapsed, limbs flailing uselessly, thoughts scattering like marbles across a floor I could no longer feel. Then darkness. I woke up strapped to a table in the center of the sleek, high-end kitchen. My body was numb, my arms and legs splayed and tied down with thick rope that scraped against my skin. The room wasn't cold like a morgue. It was warm, humid, and filled with a nauseating blend of aromas. Bleach, charred meat, fresh herbs, and something unmistakably metallic. To my left, a prep station gleamed with precision tools, mandolins, mincers, boning knives. On the kitchen island sat a bowl of something marinating. Was it beef? Pork? My stomach twisted. I tried to scream, but my throat was sandpaper dry. My tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. My limbs were bound tightly, thick leather straps cut into my skin, keeping me spread and helpless. Footsteps. Then Mark entered, donning a blood-smeared apron like a chef ready for his shift. There was a shimmer in his eyes. Not joy, not madness, but something twisted in between.
You're awake. Good. The first time should be memorable.
What the hell is this? I rasped, terror making my voice crack.
I always wondered what it would be like,
he said, almost dreamy.
After watching Hannibal, it just clicked. You're perfect. Fresh. Clean. Beautiful.
He approached with a paring knife, its edge honed to perfection.
Blood type A, right? They say it's the most flavorful.
He pressed the blade to my neck. A stinging slice. I screamed. He caught the blood, tasted it, then gagged, violently, his face contorted in horror. He stumbled to the sink and vomited, retching like a poisoned man. The knife clattered to the table. He was too busy heaving to notice that my eyes had locked onto the knife on the floor. My wrist twisted painfully toward it. Awkward, strained, the cold steel kissed the edge of the rope binding my wrist. I began to saw. Once. Twice. The blade bit into the coarse fiber and grazed my skin. Pain flared hot and raw, but I didn't stop. Mark groaned again, spitting bile into the sink, muttering something about preparation and balance of flavor. The rope snapped with a frayed gasp. I yanked my wrist free, the skin beneath it raw and bleeding, my pulse pounding in my ears like war drums. I moved quickly to my ankles. The knots were tight, stubborn, soaked with my own sweat. My fingers slipped once, twice, but I didn't stop. I clawed and sawed and twisted until at last, the final rope loosened and I kicked free. He turned.
No, not yet.
I snatched the knife, stumbled to my feet and lunged, not at him, but at the sleek wall oven beside me. The blade drove deep. Glass shattered. Gas hissed like a snake let loose. Flames erupted in an instant, racing across the countertop. He screamed, not for me, but for the oven.
No! That's a $6,000 Viking!
I toppled a prep table into his path, the clang loud as a gunshot, then sprinted into the smoke-choked hallway without looking back. I grabbed my phone from a table near the entryway. 1% battery. 911, please help. But Mark's voice echoed from behind.
You can't leave. You're not done yet.
I bolted for the front door, flung it open, only to find the outer gate locked. No keypad, no handle. I darted into the bushes, phone in hand. I crouched, heart in my mouth. Tinder notifications pinged in quick succession.
You can't escape me! I told you, this is my first time.
I muted my phone, uninstalled the app, but another message arrived through Premium Override.
I fixed the oven. Sorry for being clumsy. Let's finish what we started. The first time is always messy.
A sound, footsteps, buzz of electricity, then a voice inches from the brush.
And honey, I brought a cleaner blade this time.
I used to believe that fame could fix everything. Not for vanity. I just wanted to be seen. Needed it. I was drowning in debt. Ignored. Invisible. Fame, I thought, would pull me out. Once I was big enough, the brands would come, the money would follow, and everything would finally be okay. The first taste came from a site called Starlinks. Realistic followers, intelligent engagement, become who the world wants to follow. I bought the basic package. By morning, I had 150,000 followers. My notifications were on fire. Comments like, "Queen behavior," "Obsessed with your vibe," "Where have you been all my life?" I cried. I felt seen. Mia, my best friend, messaged me.
"This is dangerous,"
she warned.
"It's fake and it'll swallow you."
I replied, "Just wait. When I blow up, I'll take care of both of us. Promise." She didn't push again. Not yet. I kept buying. 500,000, 1,000,000, 5, 10. I watched my follower count rise like a heartbeat on life support. But offline, I was still nobody. At fashion events, no one recognized me. At restaurants, no one cared about my 10 million followers. No brand replied to my emails. Then came the skeptics. Who even is this girl? How does she have more followers than Taylor Swift? Bot-farmed fraud. Sad. And the exposés. YouTube videos tearing me apart, showing my engagement spikes, fake comments, rented admiration. Then I saw her, Mia, in one of the interviews, sitting across from a podcaster.
"She's not a bad person, but she's addicted. I tried to help. She pushed me away."
I blocked her that night. Traitor! I spat. "You'll regret this when I'm really famous." That's when I bought Starlink's Platinum. It included high-grade interaction, AI fan chat, even mannequins with embedded camera lenses to simulate real-life events. I rented a warehouse, built a stage, hung banners with my name in gold, dressed 200 mannequins like adoring fans. My fan meeting streamed live. The night of the event, I wore white, lit just right. I stepped on stage, heart pounding. 146,000 people watching. Hearts floated up like glitter. Comments poured in. "We love you. She's glowing. Fan meet of the year," I sang. I smiled. I thanked them. "You believed in me when no one else did. This moment, it's everything." And then, a click. A metal door creaked at the back of the warehouse. Footsteps, slow, heavy. A man stepped into the light. Bald, broad-shouldered, black shirt soaked in sweat. In his hand, a thick steel pipe. He walked down the center aisle, passing rows of mannequins whose empty stares never wavered. My voice faltered. Who are you?" He smiled like someone who'd waited for this moment a long time.
"Time's up, sweetheart. You owe us."
"I'm live streaming," I stammered. "There are thousands watching." He glanced at the camera and snorted.
"They're bots. Just like your fame. You paid for this fantasy and now reality's collecting."
I froze. Then he swung the pipe. Crack. A mannequin's head flew clean off, bouncing off the stage. Wham! Another was crushed at the chest, splitting open in a burst of stuffing and plastic. Thud. One was kicked off the platform, its stiff limbs crashing to the floor like a fallen god. I stumbled back, tripping over fallen legs and shattered illusions.
You worship this.
He shouted, smashing another.
10 million lies wearing lipstick.
I screamed into the mic. Someone help me. Please, call the police. The chat exploded. Bro is unhinged. This is insane content, OMG. Scripted or real? He laughed.
They love the drama. Keep screaming.
He grabbed a banner with my face and ripped it in half. Then he turned to me.
You bought love. Now you pay in flesh.
I tried to run. My heel snapped. I hit the floor. The pipe came down crack into my shin. Pain exploded through me. I screamed until my throat bled. 172,000 watching. Wait! Was that real? Bruh, she's crying for real. This live stream is wild. I crawled to the camera. Please. I whispered, barely able to breathe. Someone. He raised the pipe again. But suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos.
Get away from her!
From the shadows, a figure sprinted across the warehouse. Fast, fierce, unstoppable. She gripped a broken mannequin's arm like a club, and with a roar I'd never heard from her before, she swung it with all her strength. I blinked through the blood in my eyes. Mia. She sprayed something into his face. Pepper spray. Then shoved him back with everything she had. Sirens wailed in the distance. She dropped to her knees beside me, arms shaking.
I told you this would destroy you.
Then darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up in a hospital, leg in a cast, phone gone, channel deleted. Mia was asleep in the chair next to me. She had paid off the debt. All of it. Why? I asked, tears streaming down my face. After everything I said? She squeezed my hand.
Because I was the only one really watching you.
Now, I have 43 followers. Just Mia. A few old classmates. My cousin. A girl from high school I barely remember. No brands, no blue check. But I still post. I sing sometimes. I talk about healing, about being honest, about pain. The comments are few, but they're real. You're brave. I'm glad you're okay. This version of you feels human. And for the first time in my life, that's enough.